men of this generation will live longer, and this is my reason. I am an African woman who's been in Africa practically all her life. I have seen a lot in life. I've heard a lot. I have my own experiences. I've heard stories. I have cousins, sisters, that have their own experiences while growing up. So what I'm about to say is from my experience and from stories that I've heard. I did my own mathematics, my own calculation, and I've come to the conclusion that men, especially African men of this generation, and probably the generations to come, will live longer than men from previous generations. There is this conclusion that most men die before their women. So there has been opinions, there's been debates about why this is possible. People say it's because the man works harder than the woman. People say it's because men are prone to be depressed. People say it's because men worry more about the family. There are lots and lots of speculations about why this seems to be believe that men pass away before their women. Though all of this might have been true for people from previous generations, when women were just housewives that stayed at home doing nothing at all. Their work was basically to bring children into this world. Yeah, so for them, that would have been true. But women of this generation, we all know, work twice as hard. Everybody's chasing money. Everybody wants to be relevant in life. So it is not unique to the male gender anymore. So women work hard. I know a lot of families when I was at the university that students that are so proud of their moms, if any bill comes up, they will tell you, let me call my mom. So, and telling me that one of the reasons is because men worry more about the family. I don't think that is true. Women worry more than men. I'm a mother, and I know that I worry more about the family. Emotionally, you could just tell that I worry more about the family. So I think it's old-fashioned. It's an old-fashioned belief that men worry more about the family. That is one of the reasons why they die. While growing up, fathers were rigid. Most fathers around me were rigid. Most fathers around me were strict. There was this need to prove to the family that, yeah, I'm the father, yeah, I'm the dad. And so many of them abused their wives, abused their families, all in the name of proving that they are men. They forced respect, they forced submission, they forced all sorts of things. Most fathers were not the playful types. They didn't play with their children, they didn't play with their wives. There was no public display of affection for their spouses. In the evening time, I remember most of these fathers, they preferred to gather themselves in a corner, drinking or, doing all sorts of things. And I remember that women were not allowed. Women did not have a voice as at that time. When they didn't go out with their friends, they would be on their own outside receiving fresh air. Now, some people say that one of the reasons why men stay outside receiving fresh air alone, not wanting to be disturbed, is because they worry about their families. They are worrying. There's their time to think about how to push the family forward. Now, this is what I want to say. I have come to the conclusion that men of this generation are better. I have seen men wash clothes for their wives unapologetically. I've seen men cook for their wives. Even online, I see men loving their women the way they should love their women. And I think it is wonderful. So I think men of this generation will live longer because they have learned to share. When I was growing up, men were not allowed to cry. A man who cried was a very weak man, and he was mocked and laughed at. He was called a weakling. He was reduced, insulted. How can you cry? They made crying to be something that only women do. So, but men of this generation are different. They are not ashamed to cry. And crying is very, very therapeutic. When you cry, you release a lot of toxins from your body. I'm not a medical doctor, but I know these things. They are teaching it online. I have seen videos of men who cried on their wedding days, especially when they saw their brides. When you go through the comment section, you will understand better what I'm saying. These men are laughed at. People question, why should you cry on your wedding day? Why should it be you crying? It should be the other way around. Women aren't seen as emotional, so it should be the woman crying. So men like these are mocked. Men like this are insulted. Public display of your emotions is not bad, but that is not what we are talking about. Men of this generation are different. Now, aside that, men of this generation are open about what they are going through. While growing up, a man was not really allowed to share every little thing with his partner. This is because it is seen as weakness. They were told that you don't tell your woman everything. If you tell your woman everything, she will learn to disrespect you. But it's different with men of this generation. They are so sweetly different. You know, they share things with their partners. They let their partners know what is going on. They share that burden. And when you share, the burden emotionally, lessens. So men of this generation they are not ashamed to show affection for their wives outside online. They pride in the fact that they love their wives, and they are not ashamed to show it. Men of this generation treat their women better. Not all. I'm talking about where I am, is different. While growing up, I was scared of getting married because I felt, oh man, men were terrible. How can you be married and you are lonely in marriage? But it's different with what I see every day outside. Finally, men of this generation are not lonely. The men that I grew up with, they had families, but they were lonely. Because you have a partner, but you don't talk to your partner about things that are pressing, unless it's about to, unless it's so important that she knows. Most of them die with their secrets. So men of this generation are better husbands, are better fathers, and I am so proud of men of this generation. So it feels good to know that men are coming back.